Hey guys, today we're going to talk about Venus in Pisces and the retrograde cycle that it's going to go through in the year 2025. Yes, so this is going to be a long cycle of Venus through the sign of Pisces and Aries. Pisces never sees the world in black and white terms. Rather, Pisces sees all the colors of the rainbow. With the goddess of love and Pisces, our love is all embracing, and we are able to forgive and understand. We are sensual and seductive, and we show compassion to our partners. Venus in Pisces is tender and affectionate, although hard to reach, as there is a longing for something that is difficult to define and hard to satisfy. Borders and boundaries blur under Venus in Pisces. The shadow side of this position is allowing ourselves to be deceived because we want to believe, as well as evasiveness. We should watch for falling in love with an idealized image of something or someone. It's also important to watch for avoidant and indirect behavior. Venus is exalted in Pisces and does well in this sign. It's devoted, compassionate, exceptionally giving, and capable of sacrifice. We might rely heavily on our intuition when it comes to our finances and love life during this cycle. We gravitate to and appreciate unusual, tossed aside, poetic, artistic objects, situations, and people. Because Venus and Pisces, they tend to gravitate towards the ones that are not paid attention to, or they like the underdog wins, basically. And Aquarius is the same way too, where it's like they don't find the typical standards of beauty in society um, to be attractive, if that makes sense, because their love goes much deeper than that. So it's not just the surface. Overall, during this period, we could seek activities that move us, inspire, or touch us in some way. But be careful not to ignore or overlook some of the practical elements in life, like money, responsibilities, structure, priorities, all that stuff. Finances could benefit and improve if we connect with our otherworldly talents, like our imagination, or our desire to heal, like, service to others and light work stuff. Because Pisces wants to help others. Pisces wants to serve others and make sure others are taken care of. This transit is not particularly strong for resolve or determination, but it's good for adaptability and increased understanding or acceptance. So this cycle is going to be from January 2nd to February 4th. And then it will return to Pisces soon after, from March 27th to April 30th. It's a very unusual pattern because it's a retrograde cycle. So all of it's divided between the signs of Aries and Pisces from March 1st to April 12th. Keep in mind that retrogrades, they always bring something back from the past, right? We always talk about that with Mercury retrograde season. It's like someone or something from your past is going to come back. But when it comes to Venus retrograde, you can already guess what that could bring, and that could, maybe not always, but it is said that it can bring like past lovers or that kind of thing. So some of the aspects that Venus is going to make to the other planets, I kind of listed here. Some of the major ones anyway. On January 14th, Venus is going to square Jupiter in Gemini. The square aspect is an uncomfortable tension aspect. So what I see here, because Jupiter is kind of in detriment in Gemini, there could be some misunderstanding, I would think. Venus and Pisces squaring Jupiter, something of that nature. Some love-related problem could kind of expose itself and become very big and feel very big in a way. Because Venus and Pisces, Jupiter together, it's like all consuming in that square aspect. It's at the Piscean degree. The Piscean degree is 12. So I would say that Venus will probably, I think things will even out with that because Venus is exalted. So whatever happens on the 14th will find a resolve. But just be aware that something love related or some kind of, there could be a situation where someone is just trying to help and they're misunderstood in some way and it just goes bad. January 18th, Venus is going to conjunct Saturn in Pisces because Saturn is still in Pisces right now. And that is at 16 degrees, which is the Cancerian degree. Cancer is the nurturer, right? The mother. So what I see from this, I see that it could be a time where kind of just go more within. Because with Saturn there, it kind of, if anything, it brings more structure to Venus and Pisces, making Pisces more grounded. So it's not, floating up in the ethers and getting lost in idealism. So, but it's not always easy, right? So it's like you have that Cancerian love there. Maybe it's pointing towards us going more within and nurturing ourselves. Or just staying close to home. Like, it's best to stay at home in the comforts of your home. January 19th, we have Mercury in Capricorn that will sextile Venus and Pisces at the Cancerian degree again. So actually what I kind of see from this, perhaps something starts on January 18th that is home related. And so what happens is something can be resolved in the home with Mercury there the day after. It's like you can find a resolve through communication. January 25th, we have Venus that's going to trine Mars in Cancer at the Capricorn degree. So it's like it switches, the degree switches and the sign. So with that one, it's still a good aspect. Trines are nice aspects to have. It's not a tension aspect. So what I see from that is on the 25th. Well, that could be a good time, honestly, because Mars and Venus are coming together in a nice trine. It could be good for people who are in relationships, or if you're not in a relationship, people who are looking to find someone, maybe. But see, Mars has been doing its retrograde, so maybe not, honestly. This could be a good time to still go within. A lot of this cycle, since we have all these retrogrades happening, it really does point us to go inwards, not so much outwards. So if anything, not to say that you can't meet someone, it really depends on where it is in your chart, of course, and the aspects it makes to your personal planets, but 22 degrees brings some balance and stability there at the Capricorn degree. And then the very next day, January 26th, Venus is going to sextile Uranus, which is in Taurus, and it's going to be at the Aquarian degree, which is 23 degrees. Now, what I see from this is the one that I'm not so sure of. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, no, it's a nice aspect. Sextiles are good. Okay, So maybe it could be fine. It could be good. But Uranus is all about unexpected, something that is a shift, a sudden shift somewhere. And since it's in a sextile, I see it as a nice aspect, but it's at an Aquarian degree, which is interesting because Aquarius rules over Uranus, and Uranus is in Taurus right now. So it's like, and it's at that Aquarian degree. So it's like hyping up a lot of Aquarius there, which is awesome because it is, by the way, it's the day before my birthday, January 27th. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, a lot of Aquarian energy there. But something sudden and uplifting, perhaps, something good that comes your way, hopefully my way. And then February 1st, we have Venus in conjunction to, okay, this is a big one. There's a lot of stuff happening on February 1st. Venus is going to conjunct Neptune, and it's also going to conjunct the North Node. So I don't know if you guys remember my video I made where I'm talking about the node change. And that's going to happen on January 11th, where the North Node is going to be in Pisces and the South Node is going to be in Virgo. February 1st, that's a lot happening all at once. We got Venus in Pisces exalted, super strong. Neptune in Pisces. Neptune's is in its home sign. Exalted Venus, Neptune in its home sign. North Node is in Pisces. This is a collaboration altogether that is super duper potent in Pisces energy. To be quite honest with you, I'm not really sure what could happen. I'm still trying to figure out what that exactly means. But, kind of trying to dig a little bit more into it to see if I can get some more info. It really depends because it's like, if we want to look at the US chart, we got to find out where that falls in. And I think, let's see, the US is a Sagittarius rising. That's going to be in the 4th house of the US natal chart. All of that is happening. That's a good thing, though, for that to happen in the 4th house. Because then that could speak to a lot of healing happening on the homeland. That's how I get that. So that's very good for collective reading for the US. But of course, for like personal charts, you really have to look into where that's going to help you. For me, it will be in my 8th house. It could bring a lot of healing energy, a lot of self-compassion, and it's going to be at, let's see, the Neptune and Venus one. Neptune and Venus conjunction is going to be at 27 degrees, which is a Gemini degree. And the node and Venus conjunction is at a Cancerian degree. So we've got a mixture of head and heart right there. That's awesome. Gemini is the head, the brain, the mentality, and the heart of Cancer. So that can only be good things. Those are the main ones. The Venus retrograde cycles usually take place once every 18 months or about 40 days. That reminds me of 40 days and 40 nights. They repeat in an 8-year interval, so usually repeating in the same zodiac signs. Because of this, most astrologers refer to Venus retrograde cycles as a reflection of the situations, events, relationships, and experiences around Venusian topics for the past 8 years. So during retrogrades, and we've talked about this before with like Mercury retrograde cycles as well, it's not a time to make big decisions around love, money, relationships, beauty, anything that's Venusian. Because yes, Venus also rules over money as well and abundance. So you don't want to make any big investments around a Venus retrograde. For instance, another thing too, especially with this, they say this about Mercury as well, but okay, it's pretty much similar, but it's not at the same time. No one should begin a relationship during this time. It's not a good idea. I mean, you can go ahead and take a chance if you like, but the success rate will not be very good. Not a good time to go official with anybody or get engaged or become married. You should also not change your style, fashion, cosmetics, or get facial surgery. And I was talking about that as well with Mars retrograde. There's so many retrogrades going on right now. It's just not good to make big decisions right now, okay? While a relationship or a cosmetic procedure may not be doomed if it takes place during Venus retrograde, astrologers note that people may find that the relationship eventually loses affection or love, or the results of the cosmetic procedure don't last very long, or they don't turn out the way that they wanted them to. So, this particular Venus retrograde in 2025, definitely a time to re-examine your passions and your sensitivities. It is also a great time to realign your spirituality in your relationships or your connection on a spiritual level if you want to. And not everyone's ready to do that, but if not with somebody else, with yourself. This doesn't always have to involve someone else. But the retrograde will start March 1st to the 27th. When Venus is asleep in Aries, where she is known to be especially weakened in detriment. Venus does not like being in the sign of Aries. You may face challenges around your intimate life. You may want to embrace a fiery conquest to pursue your heart's desires, but this may work against you. Better results will come from pacing yourself rather than rushing forward at this time. Note that Venus seems to slow down as it enters its pre-shadow retrograde phase on January 28th at 24 degrees Pisces. And that is the Piscean degree. So you may begin to feel effects of Venus retrograde as early as then. From March 27th to April 12th, when Venus slips backward into Pisces, you may bump into people from your past, especially those who you share a deep karmic purpose or who share a deep karmic purpose for you. You may also experience connections with people who feel like soulmates or even past life relationships. Be mindful throughout April and into May as Venus won't move out of its post shadow until May 16th. My advice is if you're really into astrology and you're curious to learn more about it, keep a journal and write down your experiences throughout every phase, every cycle in your life. And make sure to be intentional about it. Like if you're going to write about, like do an experiment, okay, I'm going to keep track of how I'm feeling during this retrograde season, how it affects me, and look at the points in my chart that it could be affecting and stuff. Did I feel anything? Did it hit anything that makes sense and connects? Keep a journal so you can refer back to it. I'm going to go over all the rising signs to see where it's going to hit in your guys' charts. I did kind of semi go over Sagittarius rising since the US natal chart is in Sagittarius, but I'm going to go over all of them from Aries first. Hold on one second. All right, so we're going to finish the rest of the rising signs. We're going to go through that whole list, right? And I forgot to mention that I didn't do a Mars. I did a Mars retrograde video for Leo, but I still need to do the Cancer one. And yeah. There's a lot of other things going on in the sky, is just what I'm saying. And yeah. Okay. So we're going to start with Aries rising. Aries, it's going to be in your 12th house. The 12th house of the subconscious. Hid matters, solitude, the unseen, the other realm. So with Venus and Pisces there, your hidden or private love and relationships may take on a secretive or private quality. You might be drawn to keep your feelings or romantic connections away from the public eye, or you could reflect on your past lovers. Deep emotional healing when Venus goes to the 12th supports your emotional spiritual self. You may find closure or peace in relationships that were once a source of pain. Unconditional love. This placement enhances compassion and empathy, encouraging selfless love and understanding. You may feel inspired to care for others or connect with a higher spiritual love. Creative solitude. You might feel drawn to artistic or spiritual pursuits in solitude, finding beauty in moments of quiet reflection. Dreamy and spiritual connections are also favored here. Divinely inspired, your intuition about others is heightened. You could experience a profound sense of connection with the universe and with those you love. But of course, always be aware that it could definitely get you to idealize your love more. Romantic fantasies, you kind of feel drawn to those unattainable type of connections. But you do have a heightened intuition, understanding of others' emotions. And it could be a time where you can really channel your feelings into art, music, and spiritual practice as well. So just don't give into escapism. Make sure your boundaries are still there. You don't want to get involved in entanglements or involve yourself in confusing situations. And allow yourself to feel the pains that might resurface, because they're resurfacing for a reason, for you to work on healing them more. So that could happen as well. Pay attention to your dreams, of course. Anything that goes to the 12th house, dreams are definitely highlighted. Embrace your compassion, engage in spiritual practices, and focus on all that healing energy that you're getting. All right, so now let's go to Taurus rising. You guys are going to have it in your 11th house. So with Venus transiting into the 11th house of your communities, your social groups, your friends, networks, all that kind of stuff, it's a great time to strengthen your friendships during this transit. It enhances a warm affection within your social circle. Friends may seem more supportive, more understanding. You'll feel drawn to your deep bonds. You could also attract new connections as well, because this is the public house. It's the house of networking. Like-minded individuals will come into your life that could inspire more creativity, compassion, people that are more spiritual. Group projects or collaborative efforts can flourish under this transit as well. Your diplomatic and artistic approach can inspire others and create harmony within teams and communities. Romance and friendships. So be on the lookout for that. Romantic sparks may arise with someone in your social circle or through group activities. Alternatively, existing relationships may feel enriched by shared goals and social experiences. With Venus and Pisces in your 11th, it urges you to prioritize aspirations that bring love and beauty into the world, because the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius, right? Aquarius is house, and it's about the collective. It's about humanity. So when Venus and Pisces is going in there, it's inspiring you to create something that's going to really bring about like a collective compassion Definitely adds a touch of idealistic connections, idealizing your friends and all that kind of stuff, networking, all that. So just be careful, as well with everybody else, careful with the escapism stuff, and make sure you have your boundaries up. No matter what, you still got to make sure you keep grounded. Foster a balance while your heart is also open. And now we have Gemini rising. It's going to be in your 10th house. That's kind of cool. It's in your MC. I think there's some career opportunities for sure. Attraction in the professional sphere. You're likely to gain favor in your career or public role. Your charm and compassionate demeanor may attract new opportunities in the work field. So it's like if you're in sales, marketing, you can turn on that charm and then get some sales in there. Support from authority figures, admiration from your colleagues, creative career pursuits. So if you have a hobby that you want to start making some money off of, great time to do it. Any kind of profession that involves art, music, design, spirituality, healing. You might feel inspired to align your career with some of your more creative passions. Definitely is going to enhance your public image for sure. You'll have a glamour about you. Be careful though, because yes, it's in your 10th house. If at your work you have some people that you find attractive, well, romantic or professional, could play a significant role in advancing your ambitions. Like I said earlier, just, have that boundary there. You might feel called to pursue a career or public role that aligns with your spiritual or humanitarian values. Pisces encourages you to dream big, but also reminds you to stay grounded. All right, so now we're going to move on to Cancer rising. It's going to be in your 9th house. The 9th house of higher learning, long distance travels, and spirituality. Romantic and spiritual adventures. Love takes on an expansive and idealistic tone. You might connect with someone from a different culture or background, or you may find love while traveling or exploring new horizons. Inspiration through learning. This is an excellent time to immerse yourself in studies, especially creative, philosophical, or spiritual subjects. You might find beauty in abstract ideas or artistic inspiration from learning about different cultures. Travel and exploration, of course. Big time is definitely a yes during this time. Just be careful because we have a lot of Mars crap going on too. So just be aware of that. I mean, there's been a lot of plane crashes happening lately. So I think that has something to do with the Mars retrograde and cycles and stuff, and Pluto. Connection through shared beliefs, though. You can meet somebody through like spiritual studies, through church. If you go to church, this could be a great time to meet someone at your church or any spiritual, philosophical group or community. You'll likely be drawn to arts, music, traditions of other cultures. So this transit will definitely enhance your appreciation for global beauty and diversity. All right, so now let's move on to Leo rising. It's going to be in your 8th house, Leo. We all know what the 8th house is all about. It's about death and rebirth. It is the house of Scorpio. So, and shared resources as well. Deep emotional and romantic bonds are a theme here for you, Leo risings. Relationships take on a soulful, transformative quality. You might experience profound intimacy and connections that feel almost mystical. Focus on shared resources, money, investments, or property shared with others, partners, family, or institutions could come into focus for you. It's a good time to harmonize financial arrangements. Healing and rebirth is a big subject here. All about the transformation here. Venus can bring healing to wounds related to love, to trust, or self-worth. Pisces has this compassionate energy that encourages forgiveness and release, not only for yourself, but for others. Psychic and spiritual growth. Your intuition is heightened during this time, especially in relationships. You may feel drawn to spiritual or esoteric studies. Magnetism and attraction. Venus in the 8th house can make you magnetic to others, drawing people toward you with an almost irresistible allure. Oh, okay. Let's see. But yes, just be very careful with escapism, financial overdependence, because that's another thing here too, is you got to be cautious about making impulsive decisions regarding shared resources. And it's about kind of reflecting, okay, how dependent am I? You don't want to be too independent, but not too dependent either. So it's like that grapple between, if you're in a relationship, that is. If you're not in a relationship, you got to be careful with your investments, your resources. Don't make any hasty decisions about stuff, because you can lose a lot if you're not careful. You got to do it smart. And that requires you to keep grounded. So, all right, now we're moving on to Virgo rising. Virgo, it's going to be in your 7th house. It's your descendant. Yes, it is in your descendant area, which is all about relationships, partnerships, one-on-ones, all that stuff. Romantic idealism in your relationships. Venus and Pisces in the 7th heightens your desire for deep, soulful connections. Partnerships may feel magical to you at this time. You might idealize your significant other during this time. But you'll have improved harmony in your partnerships, or you should. Existing relationships can feel very loving, harmonious. It's a good time to heal past conflicts with your partner or anyone in your life. Opportunities for love as well if you're single. This transit can attract new romantic opportunities, particularly with individuals who exude kindness, creativity, or a spiritual presence in them. Compassionate collaborations in business or personal partnerships. Venus fosters cooperation and mutual understanding. Pisces encourages working together for a shared vision or higher purpose. Creative and spiritual love. You may find yourself drawn to artistic or spiritually minded individuals, or you might explore shared creative or spiritual pursuits with a partner. And like always, make sure you're very careful as far as boundaries go. And even though it's really nice to have that magical feeling there, do not let it take you to la la land too far. But yeah, it's a great time for you to spiritually bond with someone. Okay, so now Libra rising, you guys have it in your 6th house. 6th house for Libra rising. Now the 6th house is all about our routines. So our routines also involve work and home. It's a combination of the 10th and the 4th together. Relationships with coworkers, employees may improve if you run your business. Work environment can become more pleasant, which is nice. And Venus and Pisces can also inspire creative or compassionate approaches to your work. So maybe you have like an idea of like for, oh my gosh, just burped. So maybe you have an idea where, don't mind me. Okay. where you want to bring about like some campaign that's more influenced with like more creative and fantastical, that could really work, whichever business you're in. Start like a very mythological campaign in a way. Health and self-care. You may feel motivated to focus on your well-being and being gentle and trying holistic improvements and holistic self-care. Activities like yoga, meditation, spa treatments align with the dreamy, nurturing qualities of Venus and Pisces. Your routines and like habits, chores and such can feel less burdensome, which is nice. You might have some more time to find some joy and appreciate the beauty in things. And sixth house is of service as well. So with Venus there, it encourages acts of kindness and empathy. You may feel called to help others or connect with those in need in a heartfelt way. Creative work solutions. Pisces is very imaginative, so you can use that energy to inspire innovative, artistic problem solving, whether it's in the home or in your overall routines or at work. Scorpio rising is going to be in your fifth house. So the fifth house is about creativity, romance, and children and fun. Romance and love. This transit amplifies romantic energy, making it a wonderful time for dating or rekindling passion in an existing relationship. You may idealize love and seek deep soul level connections. Creative inspirations with Venus and Pisces in the fifth house, boosting artistic endeavors where you paint, write, perform, or simply enjoy artistic activities. This transit enhances creativity and self-expression. Playfulness and joy. Your inner child feels alive during this time, encouraging you to embrace fun, lightheartedness, and leisure. You may find joy in activities like theater, music, hobbies that let you express yourself freely. Magnetic charm you might have during this time because it's in your fifth house, because it lights it up. So you especially charming and attractive during this transit can be. Others are drawn to your warmth and creativity. Focus on children or parenthood. If children are a part of your life, this transit can bring harmony and closeness in those relationships. If you're considering having children, this period may inspire you to explore those feelings. Pisces in the fifth house is connected to dreamy love affairs. So romantic connections may feel faded or spiritual. However, be mindful of over idealizing someone. Artistic creativity. Your creations may carry a mystical or emotional depth. Emotional sensitivity. You might feel deeply connected to your artistic or romantic pursuits, making this time of profound emotional expression. And for Sagittarius rising, this is already getting very long again. Choose fourth house for you. This is also the fourth house of the United States. So fourth house of home, the humble abode. Themes of Venus in the fourth house here, creating a dreamy home atmosphere. You'll feel drawn to beautify your living space and possibly with artistic or spiritual touches to it. Soft lighting, serene colors, or other creative additions can help make your home feel like a sanctuary. Strengthening family bonds, relationships with family members may feel more loving and compassionate. This is an ideal time to heal past conflicts, express affection, or reconnect with relatives. Emotional nurturing and comfort. Venus and Pisces encourages self-care, emotional rejuvenation. You may seek solace in your home, creating a safe and peaceful environment to recharge. Love through domestic life. Relationships may flourish in private or home-centered settings. Sharing quiet, meaningful moments at home with loved ones can deepen your bonds. Spiritual connection at home, where you can find solace in your sanctuary, right? And you can do a lot of healing inside the home matters, basically, around this time. So definitely take that opportunity if you can. Beware of escapism at home. You could also redecorate too. It's a great time to redecorate. Capricorn rising, it's going to be in your third house. Third house of communication, learning, local connections, relationships with siblings and neighbors. You can tell I'm starting to get tired of talking. So charm and communication. Words carry a very poetic, compassionate, inspiring tone. And it gives you a knack for expressing yourself and touch others emotionally in some way, making this a great time for writing, speaking, and creative storytelling. Creative learning and expression as well. Imaginative energy to intellectual pursuits. You may feel inspired to learn or teach something artistic, spiritual, or emotionally meaningful. Harmonious local connections as well could happen. Great time to connect with your siblings, though, of course. You could have romantic encounters nearby as well, since it's about like the neighborhood and all that community. So who knows? You may wander toward artistic or idealistic thoughts, though, like we all will, in some form or fashion. But yeah, same thing with you. Just don't allow your thoughts to get distracted a lot. Maintain boundaries and communication. So this is going to concern boundaries and communication. So, third house. Okay, Aquarius rising is going to be in your second house. Your house of self-worth, finances, values, material possessions. Actually, that's great because you have an exalted Venus in your second house of resources and finances. So it should bring an increase in your financial opportunities, to be honest with you. But it may come through creative, intuitive means. So it's like, what spiritual, like, do you have any hobbies where you can, like painting or something like that? You can make a lot of money off of those, or spiritually related. Refining your personal goals. Pisces energy encourages a focus on higher ideals, spiritual wealth. You may find yourself valuing experiences over possessions, or aligning your material goals with your deeper emotional and spiritual needs. Attraction of abundance. So definitely going to attract some resources easily in the second house. So definitely find your ways on how to do that. Opportunities may appear unexpectedly or through serendipitous encounters. Heightened sensory appreciation. You may indulge in beauty, luxury, and sensory pleasures. Themes of empathy and creativity and universal love. This transit encourages healing any insecurities tied to material or emotional stability. You might feel inspired to share your resources as well. Give charitably. Don't overspend though. Okay? You don't keep, make sure and keep track of how much you have in your account. Don't just forget about your finances. Pisces can definitely do that. So yeah, no escapism and overspending. No, like, what is that called? Retail therapy. Don't do that. Last but not least, Pisces. It's in your first house, Pisces. Lucky you. Dang. That must feel nice. So, in the first house of self, personality, appearance, how others perceive you. It is in its exaltation, and you have an increased magnetism and charm. You'll radiate kindness, compassion, and grace, making you particularly attractive to others. People may be drawn to your dreamy and mystical energy. Focus on appearance and self-care. This is an ideal time to enhance your physical appearance and your personal style. You might feel inspired to experiment with a softer, more artistic, romantic look. And I'm being super cheesy right now, but I don't care. Confidence in relationships. Your natural charm and loving energy make it easier to connect with others, and you may feel more confident in your social and romantic situations. Very romantic energy. You'll be more open to love. You may attract potential romantic partners. If already in a relationship, you might feel renewed affection and intimacy. I need to just tone it down. Creative self-expression. So having Venus in the first house will encourage you to express yourself creatively. This basically what that means is you get to actually be yourself, Pisces. You get to be yourself. You get to just do whatever you want. You're going to look hot no matter what. Okay. That's how I would put it. That's how I would put it. Venus going through your first house and is exalted. Doesn't matter what you do. You're going to look hot doing it. Okay. So you'll have that automatic dreamy presence. You're just going to ooze out like the empathy and kindness. Other people might idealize you actually. So just be careful with that, But one thing you should also keep in check for yourself, the people-pleasing tendencies, because you have a tendency to do that. If maybe not all Pisces risings, but you could resort to escapism and people-pleasing. And even though others are going to be possibly over-idealizing you, if you naturally do that already, you have to be extra careful about your boundaries right now. Okay? You got to be extra careful about staying grounded right now more than ever. So not trying to say you should stifle yourself from, I just got done saying you could be yourself and do whatever you want. And you get what I mean, okay? You can celebrate your unique beauty that you have, that you emulate, that no one else has. And open your heart to connect with others, express your feelings from a very deep, vulnerable, authentic side of you, but stay grounded at the same time. Use this time to really tap into your creativity. And it'd be awesome if you can keep that momentum and really tap into it. You can really flourish through a creative hobby that you have down the line. Anyways, that's what I have for you guys. I hope you liked it. It's a really long video again, but oh well. Hope you liked it, and let me know how your experience goes, and peace out.